Let's continue to look at a little bit more difficult problem, right? For example, if you are asked 50% of 2 is what, right? So of course 50% means half. Half of 2 is 1, right? Now you may be asked another way, right? You may be asked what percent of 2 is 1, right? So what percent of 2 is 1, right? If you understand this problem here, you will know that it's 50%, okay? So notice that it involves the same number. For example, 50%, and then it involves 2, it involves the answer 1, right? Now by switching these three numbers around here, you can encounter 3 different types of percent problems, right? For example, type 1, if we call the problem type 1, right? What to find is the ending numbers, right? Example is 50% of 2 is what, right? So this is similar to this example here. Type 2 question, right, is to find the percentage here. For example, what percentage of 2 is 1? What percentage of 2 is 1? Okay, so equivalent to this example here. Another type 3 question is the starting number here. Okay, to find the starting number, for example, 50% of what is 1, right? So these are the 3 types of questions that you may encounter in percent problem. So we will look at one by one each of these 3 types. So solving percent problem with equations, okay, we look at how to solve that. Now we can do it by changing the word of to a multiplication sign and the percent to the decimal number, okay. Let's say, for example, you are asked 60% of what is 75, right? So straight away we change the word of into multiplication and we change the percent to decimal, so 0.6 times, okay, and then 75. The second step here is to turn the word is to an equal sign, okay. So by doing that, we have equal sign here and the word what into a letter n. Letter n here represent something that we don't know, okay, so we call this one n, okay. So by representing what as n, we end up with this equation here, okay. So we have 0.6 times n equal to 75. Now the task was then to find n. What is n? Now you can find n if you divide both sides by 0.6, okay. So if you get 0.6 divided by 0.6, now why do we want to do that? If we get 0.6 divided by 0.6, right, this is equivalent to 0.6 divided by 0.6. What do I have? I have 1, isn't it? Right, so by doing that, we get rid of this sign here. Now if we divide 0.6 on the left, we need to do the same on the right as well, right? So essentially this one here leaves us with 1, okay. So we are turning the equation around, so n equal to 75, okay, divided by 0.6, right? So 75 divided by 0.6. Now this is then a division problem for decimal, okay. So how do you do the division of decimal by decimal, okay? So you need to get 75 divided by 0.6, and remember you have to change the decimal into a whole number, okay, by moving the decimal point one place to the right, okay, and also do the same for the number 75, okay. So therefore it's equivalent to 750 divided by 6, okay, right? So if you do that, you will find the answer to be 125, okay. So 60% of what is 75, right? So then we know that 60% of 125 is 75. Okay, so that's how we do the mathematics. Let's try this one. What percent of 250 is 375? Okay, so this is type 2. Okay, type 2, isn't it? What percent of 250 is 375? Okay, we can follow the same step. Okay, so we change off into multiplication, right? Multiplication, and then 250. Now write 350 here. Now percent. Okay, what percent? Now in this question here, percent is out of 100, isn't it? So out of 100, it really means 1 out of 100 here. Now 1 out of 100 from fraction to percent is equivalent to 0.01. Okay, right? So we change the percent into a decimal, right, which is represented by 0.01, right? And step 2, change is to become an equal sign and what become an n. Okay, so once we convert that into an equation, right, so we have n and then 0.01 times 250 equal 375. So what is this here? 0.01 times 250, this one is equivalent to 2.5. Okay, and then n, right, times 2.5 here, don't forget there's a times here, equal to 375. Now this equation is then similar to this equation here. To get rid of the 2.5, we can divide 2.5. Okay, okay, we can have 2.5 divided by n times 2.5 equal to 375 divided by 2.5. Okay, so therefore n will be equivalent to 375 divided by 2.5. And again, you do a decimal division, you will find that the answer will be 150. Okay, so then what percent of 250 is 375, right? So it will be 150% of 250 is 375, right? So let's look at type 3 problem. Okay, so type 3 here is to find the starting number. For example, 50% of what is 1. Okay, so let's have a look here, right? For example, 40% is what? 49 is what percent of 140, right? So we can write down the number 49, 140. Okay, now again, is equal sign, n is equivalent to n times percent here is 0.01 from the example earlier on, and then of is multiply, right? So therefore 49 equal to n times, now 0.01 times 140 is 1.4, right? So in order to get rid of 1.4 here, we can divide it by 1.4, and if we do that, we need to do the same on the left hand side as well. Okay, divided by 1.4. okay, or rather I should write it this way. Okay, 49, I should write 49 divided by 1.4. This is the correct way. Okay, what I written earlier on is not correct. Okay, so 49 divided by 1.4, so this will then leave us with 49 divided by 1.4 equal to n. Okay, so n is this is the way to write this equation is equivalent to n equal to 49 divided by 1.4, right? Which flip it over, right? And by doing a decimal division, we get n equal to 35. Okay, so then the answer to this problem, 49, is what percent of 140? So you're given a number 140. You want to find what percent of 140 gives you 49, right? So the answer will be 35%. Okay, and that's how you do the work problem for percent.